Hi, I'm a Zoomer, and for that reason, I adhere to the mandatory sense of nostalgia for Minecraft we all must carry in our hearts. I remember being so excited in the 6th grade that my family was finally getting a home computer. That meant I could finally play the blocky survival game all my friends in the cafeteria just wouldn't stop talking about. You know it, I know it, I am of course talking about Terraria. As it turns out, my parents were getting a Mac, which Terraria wouldn't be available on for another 3 or so years. So I was stuck with this fucking redstone crap. I'm not autistic, Mom. What am I supposed to do with this? As time went on though, I fell in love with the game. When my friends finally came around and decided actually Minecraft wasn't for babies, we had a blast exploring caves, building whatever stupid ideas came to mind. It was fantastic. I remember being so excited over the addition of slime blocks. Like, guys, this is gonna change everything. Imagine how many redstone doors we can make for our secret bases that don't even have any reason to be secret, but they're secret anyways. It's gonna be so fun. I think Minecraft was that magical game for a lot of people, and for great reason. It has stood for decades as a bastion of creativity and community in gaming, and that's genuinely amazing. But for all the flowers Minecraft gets, the last few years have seen a pretty sharp change in the public outlook on the game. People say that devs are lazy, the updates aren't frequent enough, and when they do update the game, it's just another humiliation ritual for Jeb when they put him up there and make him be all like, "We're releasing snowier snow and goats." Genuine question though, is that a bad strategy? After all, Minecraft is a game fundamentally designed around trying to appeal to as many people as possible. Appealing to angsty teens, 4-year-olds, neurodivergent people, speedrunners, hardcore players, all at the same time is a very tight balancing act, to say the least. This is a very precariously put together Jenga tower, and one wrong block just being pulled on out of there will cause the entire tower to crumble. And if that tower crumbles, Daddy Microsoft will be very, very angry. And if Daddy Microsoft gets angry, we all know people lose their jobs. This is where Microsoft comes in. People seem to think that ever since being acquired by Microsoft in 2014, Minecraft has simply played it too safe with their updates, and they haven't lived up to the right quality standards. And I'm here today to see if that's actually true. I want to go over all of the different updates Minecraft has had to offer over the years and talk about some of the stranger additions and why they may have added those in the first place, and overall determine if they've actually been that bad for the health of the game, or if people are just overreacting and complaining too much, like certain people like to do on the internet. Quick little side note here, I think it's very important to determine what I mean when I say has Minecraft gotten better or worse, because different games have different definitions of that. So for that reason, I will be determining whether an update has been good or bad using the actual handbook that Minecraft has made for us to look at. It's actually really convenient. This thing is written by a guy named
Jens Peter Bergenstein.
In this book, we see that Minecraft has 3 sacred rules. The first is that the gameplay should be free and emergent, meaning rather than having like a scripted dialogue or anything like that, the players go out into the world and explore and kind of build their own story, rather than having one explicitly told to them through, like I said, dialogue. Rule 2, we want to keep the game as simple and accessible as possible. We are appealing to a 4-year-old community right now, so we want to make it so they can understand everything too, because this game is designed with a younger audience in mind. The final rule, rule 3, everything needs a purpose. Items should have a reason for being in your inventory. Ideally, they should have multiple reasons for being in your inventory, so we don't want any dead space, we don't want anything wasted. Everything should have at least some kind of value. Got it? Okay, cool. Those are the 3 rules. That's how I'm going to be judging things going forward. Let's finally move on. Let's start with update 1.9. This Minecraft update updated, you guessed it, the combat. Now, instead of being a contest of who can give themselves carpal tunnel the fastest, Minecraft combat was a little bit more about positioning and timing your attacks to this little bar thing in order to do as much damage as possible. I'll be real, the previous combat was horrible for everyone except for like really hardcore players. Yeah, it was really simple, but it was also boring as hell. I think replacing it was the right call. However, I don't think the system they replaced it with was that much better. They lowered the skill floor pretty significantly by adding the shield and introducing dual wielding. Now you could left click with your sword and right click to block with your shield. The only downside being that you can't shield forever and axes will disable shields. However, there is exactly one mob in the game that actually uses an axe, and you're pretty much never going to see it, so unless you make a charitable donation to a zombie, you're pretty much never going to have your shield broken. Naturally, this makes the combat both a lot easier and technically a little more complex because now there's 2 items that you use instead of 1, but overall I'd say it was a pretty solid change. Making the combat so much easier definitely helped the 4-year-old community feel a lot more included in the game. And since that's their goal, I say that's a pretty positive point for them. Aside from changing combat, there was only one other significant change, and that was end cities, and more importantly, what they had within them, which was the elytra. Elytras were a massive change to the game, giving the players this weird hang glider kind of thing. They could use rockets to launch themselves around their world on, which made long-term worlds so much more viable, because now you can have these massive builds and you can actually get around them in a timely manner. It also added a serious incentive for actually killing the Ender Dragon, because before the only real motivation was just the hatred you hold in your cold, dead heart, and to make an Enderman slaughterhouse for XP. I would say the combat update goes firmly in the B tier. I'm sorry for tricking you into watching a tier list video. I'm sorry. I need it. I need it to visualize how these are actually doing. I promise it's helping. I'm not just doing it. I'm not just buying every candy bar. I'm not just eating chips. I swear I need the tier list. I swear. Update 1.10 was the frostburn update. It added polar bears, magma blocks, bone blocks, strays, and husks, almost all of which were completely worthless. These things had no identity. I guess you could say the husks and strays gave a little bit of variety and threat while exploring, so I will give those a pass, but I'm much more concerned about the other 3. The polar bear especially is just strange to me. It has one unique behavior, which is that it will only attack you if you attack other polar bears, at least according to the wiki, and I think if you get too close to a baby polar bear. Other than the fact that you can't breed them for some reason, they don't do anything. They just kind of attack you sometimes and stand around in the ice biomes. There's literally no reason a person would seek out a polar bear unless they're making a zoo or building an ark for when Lord Jeb brings upon the Great Ocean update instead of more fucking snowier snow. The blocks were also pretty lame as well. The bone block was just like a way to store bone meal, which is like, sure, I guess. And the magma block just did nothing but deal damage to you. It didn't actually have its bubble column effect yet, which was really cool, but they added that in a later update, so Frostburn does not get the credit for adding a useless block and then a later update fixing it. This was a truly pointless update. I would have to imagine they were intimidated by the backlash from the combat update, so they would rather put out a nothing burger right after being acquired, rather than make it look like Microsoft made Minecraft terrible. At least this way, like, a few people would kind of like the update because cute bear, and the rest just wouldn't notice. So this is a D tier update, which at least in my opinion means it just kind of slightly bloated the game and didn't add anything of real benefit. We're gonna save F tier for an update that I think really made the game actively worse. We're off to a wobbly start to say the least, but the next update, 1.11, was actually okay. This was the exploration update. It added woodland mansions, all of the creatures that are inside, shulker boxes, we got totems of undying, we got all sorts of stuff. This update was actually pretty cool. I think the most important thing this update was the shulker boxes. I love shulker boxes. They're basically just backpacks. You put all your stuff in there, you put it on your bag, and you head out to the friggin', you go fucking mining. It's awesome. I like it. But they're locked behind the end, and you have to kill the Ender Dragon named Jean. Her name is Jean for some reason. I don't know why. The Wither doesn't have a name, so I don't know why the Ender Dragon has a name, but it's another reason to kill Jean, and I think that's good. Kill Jean, you sexist pig. By keeping it locked so far away, it also forces players to actually interact with the inventory management system, so you can't just put your entire inventory in your base and go mining. You actually have to think like, oh, how long am I gonna be down there? Do I wanna bring wood, extra pickaxes, extra food? But if I bring too much, I might not be able to take everything that I find back with me. It poses a little bit of an interesting question, and for a survival game, that's what it's all about. When you have the shulker box though, you can say, I don't give a shit about the inventory management system. I am going to put my entire base in this shulker box. I'm taking it down to the mines, and if I fall in lava, so help me God, I will do a creeper cosplay at an airport, if you catch my drift. Woodland mansions are also a pretty cool addition. They're so rare that they force you to interact with villagers in order to acquire a map to find one, and when you do, oh my my days, it feels so good. There are all these weird, mystical rooms for you to go sneaking around in. Whoa, look at that. Are these intelligent creatures? I don't care. I'm still gonna kill every single one of them for their valuable resources. And then I'm gonna burn down the entire mansion so I can find the hidden chests without having to look it up on the internet. I love woodland mansions. I think everything in this update was great. Wasn't overcrowded with useless junk. Was a little small, wasn't a huge update, but overall just made the game a better place. I give this update an A tier. First good update after Microsoft. Update 1.12 is the World of Color update, and they added a bunch of color and a bird, which is also very colorful. The bird is a little pet, goes on your shoulder, he goes, caw, and then he dies when you feed him a cookie. Very cool. The colors are also pretty cool. I mean, quality of life for builders, that's pretty nice. More color, more builds. Thumbs up. I mean, Minecraft is good as is. Keep the updates lean, keep them filled with purpose. I like this. This update goes in B tier. It was pretty good. I mean, keep the updates lean. Minecraft is good. I like it. And I cried when I gave my parrot a cookie. So, you know, it was okay. 1.13 was the aquatic update, otherwise known as the ocean update. And oh, this was good. Lord Jeb has blessed us with great rains of bounty. This update was fantastic. It fully reinvented not just the oceans, but how water worked. Before, oceans were these giant blue boxes of nothing with occasional monuments, and rivers felt like swimming through molasses. Now you just swim across. It's awesome. This update is so nice. You got these cold ocean biomes with chunks of ice that make it challenging to use a boat to get across, and the polar bears actually kind of do something now because they can maybe attack you or look at you while you go through. It's something. The warm oceans are teeming with life. You got all these beautiful, colorful coral blocks, all these tropical fish. There's actually fish swimming in the ocean now, so rather than having to go in with a fishing rod, you can just swim in there and just kill them yourself. It's awesome. Not only that, they actually added stuff to do in the ocean now. There's the little temples that have all the drowned. You can get their trident and you can use those to summon lightning. I think the shipwrecks also add great emergent gameplay because it makes players wonder, like, who came before me? Why were they so bad at driving a boat? And why were they so rich? It's pretty cool. I like it. This update did add quite a few mobs, which has the potential to create bloat, but I think they did pretty good. We got the turtles, the dolphins, all the fish I mentioned. We got some drowned, some phantoms. It's very cool. The dolphins give you that fun sense of speed underwater once you get the boost, and the drowned actually provide a real threat when you're down there trying to look through the shipwrecks. I think all of these mobs are fantastic, except for one. You already know which one it is, the phantom. I am not really sure how I feel about the Phantom. It's kind of just an annoyance, and I know people hate on it, and then other people will say, oh, well, you guys voted for it, this is what you get. But I think a lot of people forget the alternatives for the mob vote weren't good either. It was like a blaze thing that kills you, a squid thing that kills you, and a sand trap thing that kills you. It's like they're all gonna kill you. If that mob vote was designed to up the difficulty of the game, I'm pretty sure the Phantoms actually might have been the least threatening of them all. You can directly control whether or not they spawn in the first place, and if you really need to go AFK for some reason, just do it under a roof and you'll be completely fine. Personally, I think these are a little bit lame because I just don't think that staying awake needs to be that much of a threat, but I don't know, it's not that big of a deal. They're definitely not enough to bring this down from being the first S tier update of this video. This is such a good update for Minecraft. All right, it's time for my favorite update, 1.14, the villager overhaul update. I finally have a reason to tell my friends why I'm building all these villager labor camps. It's fantastic. I have the perfect system. Take a look right here. We have the prison cell where all of the good villagers go, and then we have the lava pit where all the undesirable villagers go. It's great. This is what the devs intended. Oh, we also got pillagers, raids, foxes, and pandas. Those are just, you know, a couple other things. Okay, so 3 of those extra things make sense. The pillagers add a little bit of a new threat when you're out in the wild, and they also add a new way for you to actually unlock the new feature, which is raids. Very cool. Raids are also just really fun in general. They provide a nice challenge, they make renewable totems of undying, and unless one pillager gets stuck in a cave somewhere, I really like raids. And then when you beat the raid, the villagers think you're a hero. They give you discounts on all of their stuff, and they'll give you the most worthless items you've ever seen as a reward. Thanks, guys. These 4 seeds are really gonna help. Now get back to work, or I'm sending you and your entire family into the lava mines. Do you hear me? They like it here. Foxes are also a really cool addition. Not only are they like the secret twist of about 100 Skyblock videos, their mechanics are overall just really well fleshed out. They're really nimble, so they take less fall damage, and they'll pick up the items around them, but since they're animals, they prefer food. Meaning if one of them snatches up your sword, rather than having to chase it down and kill it with an axe, you can just toss a piece of chicken on the ground and it'll switch it out immediately. They also have their own kind of unique taming system, and they're also skittish, so you can just completely ignore them if you're not interested. I think they're a really cool, well fleshed out addition to the game. Unlike the pandas, who are not that. The only thing unique about the pandas is that they have different personalities, which are just animations. You got rolling panda, or sneezing panda, or fucking idiot panda. They're bad. The personalities are like cute, but like that's something you add on top of an already existing core mechanic. The closest thing they have to a core mechanic is that sometimes they can drop a slime ball if they get scared by a sneezing panda, which I mean, I guess you can use them to make a peaceful slime ball farm, but that's it, and that is, I think in my opinion, too niche of a use. I don't know why Mojang struggles so much with making decent bears for some reason, but I mean, they're kind of cute, I guess, and they're not enough to make this any less than an S tier update. This is my personal favorite update in the entire game. I consider the last two updates we just talked about and the next two we're going to talk about to be the golden age of Minecraft updates, but unfortunately for 1.15 they did use spray paint to make it gold because the update is just bees. That's the whole update, it's bees. They don't do a whole lot. They can like pollinate flowers, but they don't make new flowers spawn or anything like that. They can make a honey block, which is cool for redstoners. Happy for you guys. Good luck making Skynet entirely within Minecraft. You'll probably figure it out soon. I mean, this update wasn't terrible. Bees are a little bit cute. I'd say C tier is pretty fair for this. It's really small. Next up, we got 1.16, and I think everyone pretty much mutually agrees that this was possibly the best update in all of Minecraft. It's not my personal favorite, but I would not blame anyone if it was theirs. The Nether update completely overhauled the Nether, adding 4 biomes, 3 mobs, bunch of armor, and some other really cool stuff. Before this update, the Nether was bland as hell. No pun intended. But every new biome they added feels completely unique and fresh. Skeleton Valley, you got all these skeletons around, it's hard to traverse. Great source of bone meal. You got the Basalt Delta, which is just a really weird, hard to navigate area, and also a great source of magma cubes if you're looking for those. You got the Crimson Forest, which is just, it's kind of there. It's all right. It doesn't have that much going on, but it's cool. I like it. It looks cool. I like the red. And you got the Warped Forest, which is a fantastic source of ender pearls for finding the end fortress. Overall, all these biomes look great. They feel really fun to explore. Just a solid overall biome update. On top of that, all of the mobs actually serve a purpose. While no one really uses them, Striders actually are helpful in a pinch for crossing these huge lava pools, and other than Elytra, there's no actual way to do that consistently. Hoglins also create a unique threat in the Nether and a renewable source of food, so they're both a threat and something that's pretty good for exploring. Piglins, I think, are one of the best additions the game has ever seen. Having a second type of villager that are more dangerous and racist against anything that isn't gold is such a fun addition. It gives players who want a challenge not only a new structure to find in the form of a bastion, but a higher risk, higher reward option for trading for ender pearls, quartz, obsidian, all sorts of valuables that are normally pretty challenging to acquire. I love having the opportunity to make a wildly overcomplicated farm just for a few materials, so overall piglins for me, fantastic upgrade, especially since you don't even have to interact with them if you don't like them. They'll just walk right past you as long as you're wearing gold. You better not be wearing anything else or they'll fucking kill you. There is one thing in this update that people were a little mixed about, and that was netherite armor. Diamond armor, being the pinnacle of Minecraft success and riches, was a big part of the culture in the game for a long time. So upending it suddenly and adding something that's even better was a bit of an upset for some people. While I totally understand why some people would be upset, I actually think this is a pretty good change. Diamonds were slowly getting easier and easier to get, with things like buried treasure, woodland mansions, shipwrecks, all being added and giving diamonds as a way of incentivizing players to to explore. Thus, you weren't really the coolest 4-year-old in preschool anymore if you had full diamond armor, because it was a lot easier to get. Everyone had diamond armor, so now you're not cool. Netherite armor adds another way for those elite 4-year-olds to show off how much time they're willing to spend just playing the game. And it gives you some decent stat bonuses as well. It's not mandatory, they didn't make diamonds worse and punish people who were getting diamonds before this, they just added something even harder for people who were really into it to go for. They also kept mining as a core part of the identity for getting the best loot in the game, because if you've ever tried mining for this stuff, you know you'll be mining for a while in order to get it. In a surprise to no one though, this update, top tier update, absolute S tier, I love it. That leads us to one of the most lackluster updates of all time, 1.17, aka the Snowier Snow update. I think thanks to our old pal COVID, this one probably got stuck in some sort of production hell. This is supported by the fact that this update came out in 2 parts, and I think they just farted out the first one to show they were still breathing. In this lovely update, we got the aforementioned Snowier Snow, axolotls, glow squids, and goats. We also got a few other little useless blocks, but I'm sure you're starting to get the theme here in that pretty much nothing added actually served any real purpose. Snowier Snow is the example everyone uses. I think it's pretty obviously bad design. It literally punishes you for wearing good armor while you're exploring. Falling into a pit of snow and freezing to death because you can't find the exit while you're wearing full diamond gear that isn't helping you a little bit is not fun. It's just not fun at all. Axolotls, while cute, provide pretty much nothing. They provide regeneration to you in a small amount, and they'll also help kill underwater mobs. However, they're really weak, so they don't do too much by themselves. I think the idea might have been to use them to conquer water temples, since they also remove mining fatigue, which is only applied there. However, mining fatigue isn't actually applied that often, so you can just milk a few cows, take some buckets of milk down with you into the water temple, maybe a few doors to help you breathe, and accomplish the same thing without having to go explore caves for a couple hours in order to find one of these. In my opinion, axolotls are roughly panda tier, which is bad, but they are also the best mob added this update. The goats are just embarrassing. I don't understand why they're in the game. All they do is stand on mountains and headbutt stuff near them. I guess if it's the player, they can knock you off and kill you with fall damage, but 99.9% of the time, they're just annoying. They will drop their horn, which does nothing except play a loud noise. Why are they in the game? They don't do anything. They are just worthless. And somehow that's still better than the glow squid, which I hate the glow squid. I'm just gonna say it. They just sit there, they look a little pretty, and the only thing they're good for is that they drop a glowing ink sac that can be put in an item frame to make it glow, which is like kind of cool, but you could have just put this on a flower. You could have made a magic flower that goes in the already existing flower field biome to encourage exploration and not bloat the game with another little shitter floating around doing nothing. I do feel bad for the team because they were probably under some pretty tough pandemic restrictions, but in terms of just the quality of the update, this one firmly sits in the bottom of D tier. I think honestly I'm going to put it in F tier because I think it really just made the game worse. We're going to move on to the second part of this update, and I think it really hammers home just how much the first part was rushed out, because the second part was honestly really good. 1.18 did one thing, and that was drastically rework the mountains and caves of Minecraft. Mountains now tower over the valleys beneath them, and caves are these huge caverns rather than the sprawling tunnels they once were. The terrain generation is like night and day between these two updates, and it is so much more fun to explore in the second update than it was in all of Minecraft beforehand. This was a fantastic update. It was lean. It really changed pretty much just the world generation. That was the only major change, along with the blocks that came with it. Some of they were so-so, but overall, this was a great update. I put it in the A tier. I would put it S tier, but the blocks were kind of boring. Next, we have 1.19, the Wilds update, and this added a variety of features. We got the Warden, ancient cities, mangrove swamps, frogs, a whole array of things, and in my opinion, they were all kind of mid. I'm going to start with the Warden, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think the Warden is lame as hell. When you encounter one, rather than it being this really big, scary monster, it's kind of just like a glue trap, and you have to sit there and wait for it to go away. Plus, it's super lame to have a boss-like creature that isn't meant to be killed. When a player sees a big scary creature in a game about killing big scary creatures, refer back to Gene the Ender Dragon and the Wither, they're gonna wanna kill the big scary creature. So why is it that this big scary creature is too big and scary? And if you kill him, you get nothing for it. The whole point of the game is to kill the big scary creature. What are we doing here? Also, the ancient cities they guard are really boring and not fun to explore, especially because you have to randomly start shifting every other couple minutes because this guy comes crawling out of the dirt and stands around like a moron before going back in. I do kind of like the mangrove swamp part of this update though. They add a decent bit of variety, and I think frogs are cute because I like frogs. They used to eat fireflies, which was their one interesting mechanic, but Mojang said, no, that's too unrealistic. We don't do that around here. Instead, we stick to reality by making them shit lamps when you feed them lava. The only addition I can say in this update that was really actually good was the allay. I think these things are cool. You give them an item and they'll go out in the world and they will find it. Pretty interesting. It also gave the amethyst and a jukebox an actual use now, because if an allay holds an amethyst while a jukebox plays, it will duplicate, which I think is pretty cool. I put this update in like C tier. I think most of the things added were just mediocre at best. 1.20 unfortunately continues the trend by adding camels, sniffers, and archaeology. Archaeology is like kind of cool if you really like the design of the one pot they added. Otherwise, there's pretty much nothing to do here. The rewards suck, and the gameplay of dusting off blocks is boring. Camels do nothing. They are just a horse, but worse. They are slower, and the only benefit is that 2 people can ride them at the same time. So if you want to go on a romantic Minecraft date, you have a new car. But I think they're bad. But they're not that bad. I would say that's like a C tier mob, but no mob has ever been more F tier than the sniffer. The sniffer feels like they just forgot to finish it. The only good thing about the sniffer is that you can only get it through archaeology, and no one's going to do that, so you're never going to see it. They don't do anything. They sniff around and they can like find 2 different flowers, but guess what? The flowers don't do anything either. So what is the point of this? You know, they could dig up a magical flower that glows, and then you can make glowing signs out of them. That would be bad too. But you know, they could do something useful. That would be okay. I cannot emphasize how much I despise the sniffer. It's irrational. I irrationally hate this thing. Just look at its ugly, booger dripping nose. I want to kill it with a gun. Moving on. I like the cherry blossom grove because they're very sugoi. That's all I have to say about the cherry blossom grove. They add pink trees, and that's cool because I like pink. I cannot justify putting this update any higher than D tier. Let's just move on to 1.21. In 1.21, it is really becoming clear why Mojang devs are getting the reputation for working 2 minutes a day. In this update, we got copper blocks, the breeze, the mace, trial chambers, and auto crafters. Auto crafter seems cool. I'm not a redstoner, but they probably enjoy it. The trial chambers are like these underground fighting arenas for the mid game where you can get some decent loot. They're also the only place where the breeze spawned, which I really like because it's clearly designed specifically for the trial chambers. It knocks you around, and the trial chambers are like these vertical different arenas that you can fall down in, so it adds a very specific challenge. The mace is also designed for these trial chambers since it lets you kind of jump around. Another thing I really like about the trial chambers is that it incorporates previous updates into this one. So if you have the bad omen effect, for example, it ups the difficulty and the loot that you'll get from the chamber. I don't actually know how good the mace is, but I know it lets you do a jump smash attack on an enemy and negate your fall damage, which makes no sense, but is very cool, so I like it. We also added a bunch of copper blocks in this update, and I also hate copper and copper blocks. I think they're ugly and are not a good addition, but they're building texture, so we'll let it go. This update was pretty cool. I give it a B tier update. That's not bad. Since then, however, the game has had some minor updates that fall under the 1.21 category, so I guess they're not really finishing the updates now. I don't know what's going on with that. But we got a few little things. We got the Pale Garden, which is just kind of a boring, empty place and serves as a do not enter sign for the 4-year-old community. We got bundles, which people were excited over for some reason, even though they suck ass. We added some new textures for different mobs. I personally liked the classic look, but that's probably nostalgia talking, and we can ride ghasts now for some reason, which is, you know, kind of cool. It's not that bad. And then last and probably least, recently we have the Copper Age update. I've made it clear that I do not like copper so far. I think it is being very forced. It's just a random ore that is absolutely everywhere and virtually worthless. Adding a copper armor did not do anything. The difficulty gap between copper and iron armor is so small, you could probably go mining and get enough iron for a set in the time it takes the copper to smelt. The only positive argument I've heard for this copper armor existing is that it allows players to mine stuff on the surface without having to go underground to give them just a little bit of bonus armor. But I have two counterpoints. One, we already had that. It's leather. That's like the whole point of leather. You can just kill cows and then have a little bit of armor. Two, that also disincentivizes exploration because that was the answer for players before this. If you want stronger armor than leather and you don't want to go mining, go explore. You'll find a village. If you're not confident in fighting, the village will be perfect for you because not only does it give you some basic loot, another way to get loot in the form of trades, and you get iron golems to defend you from mobs. That's the whole point. If you feel comfortable with copper armor, you'll just sit and never move. It encourages players to be scared. The only good feature of the Copper Age is the Copper Golem, which lets you sort chests. That's actually a pretty cool use of copper. I like that use. I concede, I lose this one. Could the Copper Golem have been made of any other material, notably gold, the material that currently doesn't have that many uses? Yes, it could have, but you know, that's neither here nor there anymore. No one listens to me here. So, we've done the tier list, and it's time to decide. Have Minecraft updates actually been that bad? I think no, overall. The thing is, overall, the updates have been pretty good. I think in general, the game has improved. The big problem is in this last 4-ish year stretch where the updates have been awful. The highest tier update we've gotten in the last 4 years is a B tier update. B tier is like, oh, that's a pretty cool change. Yeah, nice. No one's gonna play the game again because of a B tier update unless they see something that really resonates with them personally, which obviously is gonna be a really small percentage of players. The community got pretty used to having these huge game-altering updates that drastically improved the gameplay experience, and that's why people wanted to keep coming back because it was fun to see the new changes and give them a try. Mojang is in this weird era of obsessing over copper and making it valuable for some reason, and they're seemingly not adding anything particularly fun to the game. When they keep adding minor forms of bloat like extra little useless blocks or mobs, it just makes players feel weirded out when they play again for the first time rather than excited to re-explore the world. I know and I think a lot of other players would rather they just keep working 2 minutes a day on an actually impactful update. Primarily the end update would be really cool. That place kinda sucks right now. According to their timeline, the next big update is supposed to be a graphical overhaul and change some textures and shadows, and that sounds kinda cool, but I really don't think that's what the game needs right now. The player base is starved for any major updates and changes to the game, so now is not the time for a graphical overhaul. Hi, I was originally going to end the video there. It's been like a month, and I decided I want to add a little bit to the end here, because I kind of want to talk about why this might be happening. To be clear, this is completely speculation on my part, but it really feels like that for one reason or another, Mojang has been putting out updates before they're fully cooked. I don't know if it's pressure from higher ups at Microsoft, or if they're just cooking the best update we've ever seen, but I'm going to take a guess that it's probably the former. I don't know if you've noticed, but recently Minecraft has been trying to monetize like it's Fortnite. Bedrock is a hellhole of microtransactions where they're constantly trying to get you to buy mine coins, and they replaced the settings button with a link to the shop. It seems like somebody at the top noticed that Fortnite has made $40 billion. Meanwhile, Microsoft has only profited $8 billion after acquiring Minecraft, and like, what's up with that? We should just be doing what they're doing so we can make $40 billion too? So, rather than trying to develop new things for the game, they put a good chunk of their resources towards developing monetization strategies. The problem, of course, being Minecraft isn't Fortnite. It inherently doesn't have the same continuous play model like a game like Fortnite or Roblox has, where kids want to come home every day after school for years straight and play the game over and over and over. It doesn't give kids the drive to be the best that Fortnite has, or that extremely accessible social platform that Roblox has, and it's just not going to get them addicted in that same way those games can. That's not a dig at Minecraft, to be clear. It's just not designed this way. The reason people joke about Minecraft being a 2-week phase that everyone has is because it has a finite end. It has the end dimension. At a certain point, you get kind of bored, you move on. There's nothing wrong with that. But of course, that means it doesn't mesh well with the monetization strategy where you try to get people to buy the new skin or map every week or month because people know that they're probably not going to be playing playing in 2 months anyways, so why bother spending an extra $10 when they already got the game? When you try to generate infinite revenue from an inherently finite experience, you just end up trying to juice your most dedicated players for every single cent they're worth. And at least in my opinion, that's the direction Minecraft has been heading. In an ideal world, I think Minecraft would have one big end update as a send-off to the game, and it could rest being the masterpiece that it is. But I'm not naive. I know that would cost people jobs. And more importantly to Microsoft, one of their golden geese would stop laying eggs, and we can't have that. So I'm sure we're gonna continue just getting confusing, off-putting, sort of out-of-place updates until the end of time, because that's the best way they can keep this train going. I'd like to reiterate one more time, this is speculation. I don't work there. For all I know, I could be completely off base and none of this is actually correct. All I do know is that they've proven they have the potential to make some incredibly good updates for Minecraft, and I really do hope that we can return to the days of having these game-changing S-tier updates that everyone loves and enjoys. If not, I made this video whining about it, and that makes me feel better, and I can always play on older updates if I want, and so can everyone else. So at least we have that. I really do hope Minecraft improves going forward and puts out some really cool stuff. I really just think it's a shame that the last 4 years of updates have been nothing but disappointing. All right. This is the end card of the video. We're not doing the normal call to action. See the subscribe button? See the bell button? Do not touch them. We're not doing that anymore. Instead, if YouTube asks you, hey, do you like the video? You wanna give it stars? Give it 5 stars. Say I changed your life. I wanna see if that does anything. I have no idea. It's just a little experiment. Anyways, thank you for watching. Bye-bye. See ya.